AFTV Dan, 2 points dropped in that game. We were 1-0 up, looking good, playing some great football. Fantastic goal again by Granit Xhaka. Then what I can only describe as a poor refereeing decision. But then even after that, we had a few opportunities to win the game, and we've come out with it in the end. Sucker punch I wouldn't even say sucker punch. You know, they were starting to get right back in the game without actually having any shots or anything. And yeah, it's ended up 1-1.
Well, Southampton come to batter and bruise us. Southampton come to fling a load of throw-ins, to fling a load of corners, and that's exactly how they set up. But the referee has done all he can to let them get away with everything. I mean, the amount of bullying and beating up that we saw, and then we're getting yellow cards for Saka's diving when he's clearly got taken out. We're not seeing anything from that penalty. I haven't even seen the Kieran Tierney one back yet. They've not even shown that. The Ben White one, have we seen that back again? That looked like a penalty to me. And the one that we're all talking about, I mean, I want someone to come on here and explain to me why that's not a penalty. I'm happy to listen because I do not understand.
I'd be happy to listen as well.
Please explain to me. We should be asking these referees and these officials and the VARs to come out and say, the reason that we didn't give a penalty, guys, was X, Y, or Z. And we can debate it. I don't think there's anybody that can come and tell me that is not a penalty. I don't get why it's not. It's mad for me. Now, that wasn't the reason why we dropped 2 points, in my opinion.
It's a big reason, though, isn't it? Because if you think about it, it's easy to say that, and I know you're probably going to go and talk about misses and stuff like that, right? But you think about that. I'm sure as well that would have been a sending off. This is probably why the referee was so nervous to give it, because you then have to then consider that player is the last man with Jesus. That's a sending off. I mean, we've seen Southampton down to 10 men get piped like 9-0 and things like that. It's a massive turning point in the game.
It's a huge turning point, and I get what you're saying, and I totally agree with everything you've said, actually, in terms of a red card. It is. It's last man. It's definite penalty. I don't care what anybody says. It frustrates the hell out of me when people just do not come out and just say it as it is. That is a penalty. I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody tells me. That's a red card, but we still miss chances, Rob. And if we do take those chances, we're talking about the ref. We're talking about the penalty that should have been exactly the same as we are now, but we've got 3 points. It doesn't matter. So I think, last week we had a lot of VAR decisions. Last week we had penalties and red cards. And actually, I think when you look at the VAR and officials of last week, the majority of them were right. There was a couple that people were debating about. We haven't even got the chance to debate it today because no one's talking about it. It's just been brushed aside. The Ben White one, the Tierney one, the Jesus one. Just bizarre for me. And it's like the referee, I mean, how the hell have some of those Southampton players stayed on? I mean, the guy, we've seen him elbow Jesus. We've seen him then go up against Eddie in his face. Just a yellow card. This guy should be off the pitch. So there's so much today the referee's got wrong. I don't know who the referee is, by the way, but I don't want to see him again. I don't know if he's going back down to the National Conference League or whatever he was, because he's come from there, mate. I tell you, this was a poor piece of refereeing. And poor officials as well, because even that penalty, Rob, if the referee ain't seen it, fair play, right? Fair play. But the VAR's got to get involved and say, look, you've missed one here, bro.
Yeah,
you've missed one here. Go and take a look at it. We think it is.
Especially, I feel, especially after yesterday's one at Stamford Bridge, where there was no debating that's a penalty. I feel this one today is more a penalty. They are the same, with arms all over a player. It's more a penalty than yesterday.
Listen, he couldn't wait to give a penalty last weekend against us. Couldn't wait to do it, could he? Couldn't wait to it. So when you look at it, you think the consistency here, it's not just hate Arsenal. I disagree with that. There's a lot of Arsenal fans think that the conspiracies and there's corruption in it. But the inconsistency, Rob, is mad. Like absolute mad, that you see one decision go one way, one decision that looks exactly the same go another. And I don't get how anyone can come out here and explain to me how that is not a penalty. Now, you're right, it does change the game, because if that penalty goes in, it's 2-0. If we miss the penalty, they're down to 10 men. So it's going to be a massive change to the game. But we've missed chances today, and that was poor. And there's parts of our play, particularly in the second half, that worried me, mate. I can't lie. I look at the substitutions. I don't understand for the life of me why Martinelli's come off. I thought he was one of the most dangerous ones driving forward. And Eddie's come on, and I'm sorry, man, he's just flattering to see. The moment I see him come on, I'm thinking, drop off again, drop off substitution. And Vieira come on, I thought was poor. Thomas Partey in the first half, superb. Terrible in the second half, giving the ball away. And I think that you've got to look at sometimes of the performance. And at the moment, Rob, I don't know what's going on with Gabby Jesus, but he's going through, and I ain't got the confidence that I used to have that he's going to score. There's 3 opportunities today. Could have had a hat-trick, yeah? Now, I'm at the moment like that with Ødegaard. Every time I see him, he did put one in, and unfortunately, Tierney has taken it out of play. But every time I see him with the ball, it's like a scuff shot. It's like a wide shot. He did one today. All the time in the world, doesn't even hit the target. And Jesus at the moment is doing the same. He's going through and there's just that little bit of
Rushing
form.
it, innit?
It's
like,
a little bit rash.
It's like one of them things where he's forcing it. He's so desperate to score that I think they just need to say to him, just relax.
Well, I think his form will come back because he's a quality.
Right?
Listen, he's a quality player, right? And Odegaard as well. Both of them have got quality, but it does get frustrating. So we can blame penalties, we can blame refs, we can blame VAR. But today we should have been 3, maybe even 4-1 up, and it wouldn't even matter. But we're talking about it because of our missed chances. So I will say that. And at the moment, I think we're really seeing a little bit of jade in some of the players, and also the fact that our squad depth is just not there, mate. I mean, I know we've got Smith Rowe and Zinchenko out at the moment, and we're really missing it because they would be 2 players that would either start or come on at least in this side that can change the game. I'm looking on that bench today, all of us are going, what's he going to do? Eddie's coming on and Vieira's coming on. That's it. There's no one else to bring on that can change the game. Kieran Tierney come on and we had a discussion about whether he should have played to start with. I thought he played well, but we ain't really got anything, have we, from this bench at the moment? So that's worrying. I think that we've got a few games now, then we've got that World Cup, and then it's January, and we need to look at that January window and say, right, what is it that we need? Because at the moment, forget about injuries. What is it we currently need? Because we're struggling in midfield. When Partey's playing like the way he is in the second half, we can't bring Lokonga on because there's a huge drop-off. When Martinelli's got that and we ain't got Smith Rowe, we're filling in on Eddie and straight away drop-off. Left-hand side is done. We're now to go on the right-hand side. When Saka looks tired, who comes on? He's not really using Marquinhos in the Europa League games now, let alone in the first team. So there's a few players there that we are needing to bring in for our bench. But we're top of the league, man. We can't get downhearted by this. Man City have dropped points. They've drew to Newcastle and to Villa. We've dropped points at Southampton, a place that we struggled to get points from. So we didn't lose the game. We never really looked like losing the game. There was still some positives from it. But you have to look at the referee in today and say that's poor and move on and hope that it isn't going to be the same against Forest, man, because we need to bounce back.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.